Hey, 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 welcome, welcome. It's Friday Reads Live, and I'm Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading. And here we talk about what we're reading today, Friday, this weekend, and sometimes into the following week. So there's no one in the chat at the moment, but I'm sure people will eventually, come in. Oh, I see five people are watching. So why don't I get started with what I'm reading? So it's going to be really simple. Let me see if I can get this out of the way. All right, so it's going to be really simple. I am reading this chunk right here. It's called Paul Lawrence Dunbar, The Life and Times of a Caged Bird, and this is by Jean Andrew Jarrett. So this is what I'm reading at the moment. It's a nonfiction. It's quite this, and I'm buddying this with Patrice Jones. So far, so good. I'm like hovering around. It's about to get on to chapter 4. This book has been wow. It's very informative. It's written really well. I'm learning a lot about bar stuff that I didn't know. And Jean Andrew Jarrett is a black scholar, so you're looking for a biography written by a black scholar. You have this one right here. So that's pretty much what I'm reading at the moment. For the next few days, I'm going to try to hunker into this one really well. So I'm not reading anything else. I can't. It's just too much going on at the moment. So I want to say hello to who's in the chat. So hello, I'm Lola. How are you? What are you reading? Hey, Alicia. Hello, Tracy. How are you? Hey, lady. What are you guys reading? What are you ladies reading? Let me know. Um, Hello, Renee. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Hey, Jennifer in the house. Jennifer, who has been like MIA for forever, it seems like. Jennifer, where have you been? Girl, we've been missing you. So glad to see you here. Mm. So, what are you guys reading? Let me know. Um, it's summer, so I know personally I've slowed down on my reading just because you have so many other things to do. But I'm still reading. I'm just not reading as fast and as much as I usually. I did finish a book yesterday. I read. Let me see if I can find it here. Hello, Fatima. Welcome. I listened. Well, I had the arc, but I listened to it on audio, which was so much better because it's a Caribbean read. Let me see if I can find the damn thing though. Uh, let's see. I think the girl's name is. Let me see. Here it is, right here. Okay, it's called "Let Me Liberate You" by Andy Davis. This is what I finished yesterday on audio, and I thought it was very funny. It's a kind of light. This is a good palate cleanser. If you're reading The Darkest Child, you need a palate cleanser. This will work for you. It's funny, and it's set in Barbados. A young girl trying to find her way and winds up on the island of Barbados at her aunt's place and throwing her aunt under the bus and getting her into a lot of trouble. But anyway, there's a lot of people doing messy stuff in this book. It's very funny though, and the audio is done really well because it has all of the right accents and everything. So sounds great in my head when I'm reading it. Let Me Liberate You. And this one just came out. It came out a couple of days ago, I think, like maybe the 10th or the 8th or something like that of July. So I recommend this one. All right, let's see. Elise says When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. Okay. Tracy says reading Mrs. Wiggins, okay, by Mary Monroe. And 50 Words for Rain by Asha Limmy. Oh, for my home book club. Yeah, we're going to be reading that as well in my book club. 50 Words for Rain. Okay, and Amala is reading Wolf Hall. So good, Wolf Hall. Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayburn. I haven't heard of that one. Is that literary fiction or what is that? Killers of a Certain Age. Hello, Olivia. She says she's reading, just finished finding The Mother Tree by Suzanne Simard, working on this great hemisphere by Matteo Askirapour. Yeah. And how was that one going? The Askirapour novel. How was that going? Tracy said she just finished The Darkest Child for the second time. Lord, you put yourself through that trauma a second time. My goodness. Hola, 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 Alba. Happy Friday to you too. Okay. Lady says she's reading Darkest Child and One Blood. Yay, One Blood. She said she wanted to keep her reading light this summer, but couldn't resist participating in the read alongs. Oh, I know, because I know One Blood is not light, and I definitely know The Darkest Child is not light. So I'm going to get to The Darkest Child, but it won't be for maybe another week. I'm not sure. Um, hey, Curtis. Curtis says hello. Still reading The Last Thing You Surrender. I know, right? Fantastic book. Just started reading A Sword Among Lions by Paula J. Giddings. Okay. Yeah, I feel like The Last Thing You Surrender should have been on the New York Times bestseller, New York Times best books of the 21st century list. Okay, Amala says Killers is a light, dark comedy. 60-year-old female. Wait, what? A 50-year-old female assassin squad. Wait a second now. I need to write that down because I've been looking for books um with the main characters being over the age of 50, 55. So I'm gonna definitely write that novel down, that title down. Wait, let me see if I can find it. I need to go back. Killers of a Certain Age. Deanna Deanna Rayburn. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. Hello, Teresa. How are you? Hello, Billy. Welcome. Happy Friday. Okay, Tracy said, I'm never reading it again. Twice was more than enough. It's a superbly written epitome of trauma. Yeah. Okay, DL said she enjoyed Killers of a Certain Age. Okay, very nice. Amalua said, reading it for book club and listening on audio. Again, it's light and working well as I make my way through The Darkest Child. Yeah, I mean, you clearly need a palate cleanser with The Darkest Child, for sure. Mm. So, yeah. Happy Friday, DL. DL finished The Darkest Child this week. Forgot about that book. I'm ready for our discussion because I want to fight. Oh, Lord. Teresa said, finish The Darkest Child. So heartbreaking, but very well written. 5 stars. 5-star read. Currently reading What You Leave Behind by Wanda Morris. That title sounds familiar. But Teresa's is very good. Uh, I don't know when the discussion is. For the moment, Raymond hasn't come in the chat yet. So maybe unless somebody else knows when the final discussion is going to be, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all when that discussion will be, but yeah, The Darkest Child is putting people through some stuff. Oh yeah, definitely tried that Dwayne Alexander Smith. 40 Acres, so so good. And the other one, The Unkind Hours, so so good. Pamela Samuels Young, I don't know that writer. Oh, he's putting discussion questions on his page for now. But is that chat thing still going? The little old lady who broke all the rules. What's it about? Okay, Katrina is currently reading Dominoes by Phoebe McIntosh. Oh, you got to hug Wanda. Very nice. But they have the chat on Instagram, the group on Instagram. Okay, so he's doing mainly pay. Okay, so are they ever going to do like a maybe a live discussion on IG or something? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Uh, Alba's killing it. She finished 3 books thanks to audiobooks. The End of Men, Deadly Secrets, and American Boys. Ooh, very nice. No, I only finished, like I said, Let Me Liberate You. I finished that yesterday on audio. It was very good. Very funny. So now I'm on Paul Lawrence Dunbar. So if you came in before, you got to see I'm reading this at the moment, which is a buddy read with Patrice Jones. Paul Lawrence Dunbar, The Life and Times of a Caged Bird by Gene Andrew Jarrett. So that's what I'm kicking with these next couple days. Curtis said, "How is the Great Hemisphere so far? I may be interested in getting his book." Yeah, that's what I had asked because I don't know what I don't know the when I read what it's about, it doesn't speak to my spirit. But who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind later on. That's why I was asking how it was. Mm, okay, Engelman Sundberg, a group of seniors, quite something. Okay, Tracy said Dwayne Alexander Smith and Pamela Samuels Young have that novel together. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not interested in that one. No, I'm not interested in that one. I would pass on that. Olivia said to Curtis, so far very intriguing. I prefer to wait to give my full opinion. Okay, I would prefer you to wait to give. I prefer to hear your full opinion, so I'll wait. Okay, so they're leaving the retirement home and pulling off some shenanigans. That's pretty funny. Because I don't feel like there are not enough stories out there where the main characters are over like 50, 60 years old. We're missing something with the old main characters. We need more of that, I think. Okay, How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water by Angie Cruz. Has a 56-year-old protagonist who is quite funny. Audio is better for this. I found it hilarious. Okay. Angie Cruz, isn't she? What else did Angie Cruz write? Right. She wrote something that I read. I think that I didn't like though. How not in a Glass of Water by Angie Cruz. Okay. Oh, Teresa says sounds like Murder Club. It's about retirement and shenanigans, and it's funny. Patrice is in the house. 2 minutes on books. That's what I'm reading with Patrice. uh, let's see. Abba sister Amalula. I agree. Reminded me of my mom. Oh, that's funny. Diosis is a person that writes seasoned characters. I like how you put that. There are readers, but they seem quiet. The readers that make the most noise read younger, so writers don't think readers want that. I feel like we need a little bit of everything. We can't just have everybody, all the main characters, be young or be in their 20s or even in their early 30s. I think we need characters to be of an older age sometimes because it makes for a different story in it. Mm, I don't know. I'm interested. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I'm interested. Okay, there is a Terry McMillan wrote a couple of books with older characters and nobody read them but me. Yeah, I know. She had that book that came out, but I tried to read it and it was boring as hell, and I stopped reading it. Sorry. Uh Dominicana. Yeah, no, I didn't like Dominicana. That's what the young girl that marries the older man and comes to the US. No, she was looking out the window the whole time. No, I didn't like that one. Uh, yeah, it was a little bit kind of racist the way they portrayed the black community in that book. I didn't appreciate it, but I didn't appreciate also just the way the story was written as a whole. Did not speak to me. Um, I feel like Terry McMillan wrote better in her early days. Her early work is really, really good. Her later work is, I don't know. I'm not interested. Um, Yeah, Glass of Water was okay. Like Amelia, I read that. I've read that a couple of times. Like Emile bringing ice cream to the sun. It's very good. Wanda said, "I know, right? We seniors have the most stories." I mean, I feel like there's nothing wrong with doing more stories or featuring more stories where the main character is over 60. And it's just they just sadly aren't a lot of them. And usually they aren't really pushed so much. And that's I think that's a shame. But okay. Mm, it is what it is. So, you know, I feel like that's just I feel like that's a marketing issue more than anything. I feel like they think that people will want to read won't want to read books where the main character is over 50 or over 55. Now I do have one on my Kindle that I need to read. Yeah, I got it on Kindle. That was kind of dumb, but I got it on Kindle. Let's see, what's it called? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, this one. Mrs. Quinn's Rise to Fame by Olivia Ford. And I think in this one, the main character is 70 years old. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see, Mrs. Quinn's. Mrs. Quinn. Oops. Quinn's Rise to. Here it is. So it's this one. So it came out. It came out this year in January, and it says a huge-hearted, redemptive coming of old age tale, a love story, and an ode to good food. Nothing could be more out of character. But after 59 years of marriage, as her husband Bernard's health declines and her friends' lives become focused on their grandchildren, which Jenny never had, Jenny decides she wants a little something for herself, so she secretly applies to be a contestant on the primetime TV show Britain Bakes. Whisked into an unfamiliar world of cameras and timed challenges, Jenny delights in a newfound independence. But the independence and the stress of the competition starts to unearth memories buried decades ago. Chocolate tea cakes remind her of a furtive errand involving a wedding ring. Sugar donuts call up a stranger's kind act. A simple cottage loaf brings back the moments her life changed forever. With her baking star rising, Jenny struggles to keep a lid on that first secret, a long concealed deceit that threatens to shatter the very foundations of her marriage. It's the only time in 6 decades that she's kept something from Bernard. By putting herself in the limelight, has Jenny created a recipe for disaster? So yeah, so this one is one that I'm looking forward to reading maybe this summer. Maybe when I'm on holiday, I'll read this one because it just feels like it would be a really good one. And this character is over 70, so okay, so I'm going to agree. She would like to see older people in books. She says, I hear more in some literary fiction, but then those stories are sometimes ones that go between time. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, you're right about that. We see older men. Yes, we do see probably more older men than older women. Uh, says I bought one through my Blackwell's link. Okay, how the one armed sister sweet sister. How ooh that one is good. That's a good book, but that's intense. It's intense trauma. That book. You got to get your mind right. That is not a light read. Mm. But that's the only other one that I have that I know. I have that, and then I have the Olive Kittredge series to kind of contend with trying to read because I haven't had the chance to read Olive Kittredge just yet. But that's another older character. Auntie Poldy series, yeah. Oh, she's a senior. Okay, that's cool to know because that would be that would be one to consume. And then there's also Glory B is over 60 as well. If you haven't read Glory B, and that's also it's a cozy mystery. I'm not going to read Arjen because I haven't heard anyone say anything good about Arjen, so I'm not going to even attempt that. I'm listening to the people. Nobody said that they thought that was good, so I'm good. I'm not reading it. I want to read some other things by Diane McKinney Whetstone. Like I want to read Tumbling, and I want to read Blue Dancing. And I think I have another one by her too that I would like to read. Because I really did enjoy Cecil Street. I enjoyed that one a lot. It was very well written, that book. Let me just see what the other one. I have one more by her. I have three books. No, I also have Lazaretto. I would like to read that one as well. Let's see. Okay, wait, here we go. Yeah, Leaving Cecil Street was good. That was a good read. So I have Tumbling, I have Lazaretto, and I have Blue Dancing. Those are the only ones I have. I do not own Tempest Rising, and I do not own Our Gin and don't plan on buying that one. And there's another one I hadn't heard of called Trading Dreams at Midnight. So yeah, I could definitely get into reading Tumbling or Lazaretto or Blue Dancing next. I don't know if they have older characters or not, but those are the ones I'm in for. You see, lady said it was just okay. So now I don't need that in my life. I don't want just okay. So yeah, so you see, I will go with probably Lazaretto or Blue Dancing or Tumbling. Probably Tumbling, because that one is one that she's gotten a lot of recognition for. Um, Lex said she just read Tumbling. It was beyond good. Her dialogue, yeah, I agree. She excels. in writing dialogue, in my opinion, as well, Lex. I agree with that. Okay. Hey, Margaret. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for the like. I appreciate that. Kay said grandparents are usually there for the history, wisdom, inheritance part of the book, but we don't get to see them in romantic relationships or having substantive substantive roles in books. Yeah, I know, and that's what's really a shame. But some of the titles that have been quoted, so for like a mule bringing ice cream to the sun, that one is solely on the main character, and she's a doctor, and she drives a red Porsche, and she is fly, and such a good character. That one, highly recommend that one. Thanks, Tracy. Okay, lady said Trading Dreams at Midnight. Oh, okay, Trading Dreams at Midnight is really good. Okay, well, I'm gonna mark that one then. Oh wait, it's marked. It's marked. But I haven't heard anyone really talk about that one. But the cover is enticing me. Let's see if I can show you the cover. This is the cover. It's a nice cover. So yeah, I mean, I feel like Diane McKinney Whetstone is one of those black writers that doesn't get mentioned so much, if at all. I'm not sure why not, because she's a very good writer. She tells really. Oh, here's another one I didn't. Has anybody read Philadelphia Blues? That's another one. It came out in 1998. This is one of her older ones. Let's see this. It's got 4 stars on Goodreads. But look at the cover. I don't know this one. Mm, it doesn't have an explanation, so I don't know really what's it about. It came out in 1998, but I'll definitely put that one on my list. Arjun, I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to read if it's just okay. But yeah, she's one of those writers that a lot of people don't mention as much. But I feel like she's very good. She tells really good stories. And yeah, if you haven't read a Diane McKinney Whetstone, then get Leaving Cecil Street. Very. Hey Rosa, how are you? Let's see. Teresa said she read Tumbling decades ago and should reread it. Okay, I plan to do a binge of rereading some of the good ones from the 90s early. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Tumbling is from 1997. Um, Philadelphia Blues is from 1998. Trading Dreams is from 2008. Cecil, Leaving Cecil Street is from 2005. Blue Dancing is from 2005. And Tempest Rising is from 2005. Now, I don't know how they can all be in 2005. That don't sound right to me. But that's what they have put. Tumbling is 1997, and then her later work, so Lazaretto, I remember when it came out in 2016, and I remember Our Gin came out in 2022. So I remember, those. Tumbling is 1997. I guess I don't know. They put everything 1995. I don't. I think they slip it. No, that's 1997. But the other ones are they put 2005 for 3 books. That's weird to me. I don't understand what that's all about. Um, let's see. Yeah, it is. It's 1997 on Tumbling. So I think Tumbling was the first book that I had picked up. But I picked up Tumbling. I think it was around the time I first started doing BookTube. So maybe 2014 or something. I think it's then when I picked up Tumbling. That was the first one I picked up. And then later on, I picked up Leaving Cecil Street, and Blue Dancing because I found them used on this site. So I picked them up. And then when Lazaretto came out 3 years later after I'd been doing BookTube, I saw Lazaretto came out in 2016 and I picked that one up. So I have pretty much all of those Dreams at Midnight, and nor do I have Philadelphia Blues. I'm gonna have to rectify that and get to reading the rest of these books by Diane McKinney Whetstone because, yeah, I think she's really good. Oh no, you got to go to the dentist. I hope it goes well. Bye. Have a good weekend. I don't know. I'll have to check these out here and see how they are, but I'm excited to check them out because the first one I thought was very good. And like Lex said, it's really the dialogue that won me over with Leaving Cecil Street. I thought it was the dialogue was really good. And then also liked in Cecil Street, you're like really in this black community and you see how the friendships are and who knows who and that kind of thing. You see how that black community, how they are, tight knit and you're inside of this tight knit community and you're following the story through that angle and it's just done really really well. Um Yeah, the mother was wild. Yeah, and I felt like, mother-daughter, relationships are something that in books are something really interesting to analyze and look at closely because with each book, there are similarities in these mother-daughter relationships, but there's always some aspect that is different than previous books. And I mean, look right now, everybody's reading The Darkest Child. You can analyze that mother-daughter relationship there and then compare it to something like the mother-daughter relationship that's in Leaving Cecil Street. And you'll see that there are some similarities, but there are some things that are not the same. So I feel like, yeah, that's something, yeah, we could go and talk about all the mother-daughter relationship books that we know, um, but yeah, I feel like that's something definitely to explore and look at, as you're reading, is to look at those mother-daughter relationships and look at some of the aspects that make that relationship solid within the story, or maybe not so solid because maybe there's something that isn't realistic enough, or maybe it is it is very realistic. So yeah, I think that's a valid point to or a common theme to look at. Or the mother, because I think we went through this once on one of the Friday reads. We went through talking about, well, we focused on bad mothers. I think when we made our list, but I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a bad mother or a good mother. There's still going to be some common denominators in the way there's a portrayal of that relationship, but there will be a lot of things that are different. And Cecil Street has a very interesting way of discussing. There are quite a few different mother daughter relationships in Cecil Street, and that makes it even more interesting. Yes, the last thing you submitted. Oh, my poor Thelma, Thelma, Thelma. Oh my God. I'm telling you, that book should have been on the New York Times, best books of 21st century, in my opinion. But anyway. Mm. But let's see. Yes, Olivia says mother-daughter relationships in books are interesting. Kay, the reader says, notice how so many mother-daughter relationships are terrible in books. Yeah, they can be terrible, but sometimes they can be good. I did read one where the mother-daughter relationship was, oh, it's funny. I'm saying mother-daughter relationships, and you say both books are terrible, and this book was sitting right next to me. Because I'm getting ready to get rid of some books that I no longer want to see in my face, in my house. I want to get rid of them. This is Halsey Street by Naima Coster. Did anyone read this book? This book made me so damn mad. And the thing that made me mad about this book was the way that mother-daughter relationship was portrayed. Like if you want you like the kind of relationship where you see where the mother is coming from and the daughter refuses to see anything that from the mother's point of view, but yet goes and makes every damn mistake possible. Some of the mistakes she makes, you see that mistake coming before it's even written. Like you can see that that's what the author is gonna take you to this thing that you're thinking, oh nah, she not, yeah, she gonna do that, she gonna do that, and then she does it. This book was infuriating to me. I just was like, no ma'am, no ma'am, Pam, I'm out. But this was a relationship that was not good between a mother and daughter, but it wasn't because the mother was bad. It's because the daughter was selfish and not willing to understand where her mother was coming from. But anyway, uh, Murder Night. Mother daughter murder night was a little cliche, but interesting. Yeah. Yeah, Elena Ferrante has a gift about writing bad and angry mothers. Yes, she does. A lot of examples of that in the quartet. If you read the quartet, and the quartet, the mothers in there, they uphold the toxic patriarchy that you see in the quartet is upheld by the bad mothers. There's some infuriating things in that quartet, but let me tell you, the Neapolitan series, Get Your Life, get from underneath your rock, and read those books because they are so good. Those quartet, they're putting like a real, they're laying out for you pretty much women's liberation or lack thereof in Italy over years through studying the friendship between these two little girls that you see in the very beginning when they're like 8 years old or something. Y'all get your life and read these books. I can't wait to reread them again. So, 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 so good. There's gonna be moments where you just your mouth will be gaping open because you just can't believe what you're reading, or you'll be anticipating, a confrontation or something. But Elena Ferrante is very good at turning her story to make you see what she wants you to see, which is really how women the difficulty women were having uh, living outside of a relationship or even being in a relationship. And when I mean in a relationship, I mean married. The difficulty of being married and the difficulty of not being married. It's so, 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 so good. Really, really good. Yeah, you need to get back to the quartet. Yeah, they were upholding the patriarchy like nobody's business. Like they're like, we went through that shit, so guess what? Y'all gonna go through it too. It's like, oh my God. They don't want nothing better for their children. They just want their daughters to live the same shit they went through. They want their daughters to live through that shit too. And you're thinking, wow. Especially you see it like there's a lot of it like in the first, no, the second book. Oh, Jesus, the second book. My goodness. Difficult to being their full selves because whether you're outside of a marriage because you're single, or whether you're married, you still get the shit and you're still not allowed to live like you want. And you're still going to have some man telling you what you can and cannot do. Like, nah. Yes, A Cupboard Full of Coats, another one with a toxic mother daughter. And she tell you that Cupboard Full of Coats, that is one hell of a good book. That's a book as well. Yvette Edwards is a great, great writer. She writes really good stories. She wrote this one called The Mother. That one too was really good, but there it was a mother-son relationship. But in A Cupboard Full of Coats, that mother-daughter relationship, wow. If y'all haven't read that book, get that book. It's so good. Um Also the mother-daughter relationship in River East, River West. This was a very interesting dynamic. It's a dynamic. The mother and daughter are almost like best friends, which is weird to me, but that's how it kind of plays out like best friends until the mama decides to get married and then it changes. Like it changes overnight and that dynamic mimicked the dynamic that I saw when I read what is the name of that book? I can't think of the name of that book, except in the other book, it's a French book, and it was the daughter was being raised by her dad, but it had that similarity where as long as it was and the daughter, they were kind of like best friends, which is awkward. And then when a woman comes into the picture, that they revert back to this "you're a child" kind of thing. Is that is a common denominator, I think, in these kinds of parent child relationships when they're alone. I can't think of the name of the book right now. Two of these, which two? A Cupboard Full of Coats was not on the list. So many single mothers just repeat the mistakes of the patriarchy, constant struggle for me personally as well. Yeah, this can sometimes happen. Oh, thanks, Rosa. Thank you so much for that. Um, yeah, that can happen, but that's just holding up the patriarchy and not even realizing we're holding up the patriarchy because we're just repeating the same craziness, that we're all been subjected to that wasn't right, and we're still, doing the same thing over and over again and thinking we're going to get a different result. Really, really bad. Let me see if I can think of what this freaking book is called. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. What's the name of that book? Let me see. Is it in here? There was also, if you ever read Marguerite Duras's The Lover, they have a little bit of a dynamic between the mother and the daughter in there that's very toxic as well. It's pretty well written though. Can't think of the name of that other book. Some women really believe that bad advice is for the daughter's best. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They have no qualms with giving that bad advice out because they haven't even analyzed how the advice was bad for themselves. So they're just kind of repeating the same. This is why some families they never can break the cycle. They just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Yeah, well, you need to read the other ones because My Brilliant Friend is nothing compared to the other ones. The Three Mothers by Anna Malika Tubbs. I don't know that one. Um, Trying to think, what is the name of that book that is called Donna's Book Addiction. That is such a good book. Okay. The Three Mothers by Anna Malika Tubbs. I don't know that one. Let me look it up. The three mothers. The three mothers. I don't know. Anna Malika, Malika, or Malaka, Malika, Malika Tubbs. Oops. Okay, let's see if I can do it like this. Okay, how come this is not coming up? Oh, wait, maybe this is it. I think I found it. Is this it? This looks like the one. How the mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin shaped a nation. Okay, interesting. Might have to mark that one. All right, let's see what's up. Thank you so much, Alba and Rosa, for thinking about hitting the like button. I really appreciate that. Uh, yeah, it's nonfiction. I didn't realize it was nonfiction, so that's cool. No, it's not that they're better. It's just that they tell My Brilliant Friend is the beginning of a quartet. So it's only one little part of the story. You have to keep reading. You can't just read one and stop. You have to keep reading. It's a quartet. The four books need to be. Which one of Edward Kelsey Moore? I've only read the first one. His books are good. At least the first one was. He writes black women like no other man. Edward Kelsey Moore. Oh, okay. The author was active on Instagram during COVID. Okay. Yeah, it's the foundation. It's the beginning of a quartet. You can't just read that and just stop. You got to keep reading. Yeah, you do. Because the first book really does explore when these two girls meet each other and become friends, and we kind of see what their personalities are like. We understand why they're friends, how they've met, their backgrounds are. It's the beginning of everything. Happy Friday, my cozy little library. Ooh, Amélie Nothomb. I haven't read a lot by her. I've read like maybe one or two books by her. Frappe toi le cœur. It's strike your heart in English. I thought she did. Okay. The mother daughter relationship. And yeah, I have heard people talk about this one. I haven't read that one though. I read the one that she wrote about working in Japan, and I read another one about being bulimic. I can't remember what it's called, or the bulimic one. Yeah, all you can eat whatever restaurant. I don't remember what it's called, but it's that. Yeah, that's Edward Kelsey Moore. He writes black women so well, so authentic. The Supremes, that's it. The Supremes, all you can eat. Definitely read that. There's a second part to it, but I haven't read it yet. Yeah, Edward Kelsey Moore, I feel like how authentic he was in portraying the relationship between those three black women, I thought was so well done. He's very good. He's a very good writer. Very, very good writer. Now, I think Hasn't he written something else? Or like a third book, maybe? Let me just check that. I think he's written something else. Um, I think I give it 3.5 stars. 3.5 or 4 stars. I can't remember. I think he wrote something else. So the second one is called The Supremes Sing the Happy Heartache Blues. That's the second one. But I was thinking he had written something else. I'm wondering if there's not going to be another book to the Supremes. Um, because it's written like it's a series, like there could be maybe another book. But I guess he hasn't written anything else. I don't see anything else. And the first one is this one, The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. What's that one? Yeah, I think I give it 3.5 or 4 stars. I can't remember. But I think those are the only two books he's written. He hasn't written anything else. I don't know why I thought there was something else he had written, but no. Um, well, will the movie live up to the book? Probably not, but oh well. It has a good cast. I mean, I don't know. My husband and I are gonna try to go see The Count of Monte Cristo because they've done another version of it here in France. So I'm gonna go and see what it's. We're gonna go see what it's like. I'm kind of like, I don't know, because I read the book and I know how good the book is. I don't know if that movie is going to live up to it, but we will see. It probably won't though. But I think it's a 3.5 hour movie at the cinema. So we're gonna see. Yeah, I think somebody said it was Hulu. So we will have to see. I don't know. We will see. But what did you guys think of the list of books that came out for the New York Times 100 best the 21st century? What did you think about that list? Oh, thank you, Tracy. Uh, oh, it's just as good as book one. Okay, good. I need to read it. What did you guys think of that list? When I went through the list, I was like, some of the books, I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that being there, or yeah, I could see that being there. But there were quite a lot of books I just felt like, why is this book there? Because it just isn't. There was nothing really special about it, in my opinion. So I was really uh, surprised by the list. Yeah, it was more inclusive. I must agree with that. Uh, yeah, I'm glad that there was no YA in the middle grade because I don't think YA in middle grade should be on that list. Well, like he ain't lying. He like this is my best book. I'm gonna put it on there. But it didn't wind up on the final list. I don't think it didn't wind up on the final list. Let me see if I can get the final list up. But the final list was his book on there. I did the thing and I came up with, I read 28 books and I want to read 26. So that means I'm only interested in reading that list. So I don't know if I'm enjoying the Bookstagram ballads, personally speaking. Some of the Bookstagram ballads, yes, I have been enjoying. Most of them I have not been enjoying. Um, okay, so Olivia said she read 26 of them. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like if the books of grammar ballads, some of them I'm like, are you kidding me? This to you is the best book you read in the 21st century so far. Well, damn. I mean, it was like some of them I was just like, hell to the no. Okay. On some of those books to grammar lists. I was just like, this is a joke. They have not understood the assignment. Yeah, I was very happy that the Warmth of Their Sons was on there. Who are you following? Look, I'm following. I follow people who put a whole bunch of other people's list on their stories, so I don't have to go looking for that. So I'm gonna keep it clean and nice and not say who that was. Anyway, um, yeah, 'cause I'm just like, okay, if this is the best y'all got for a list, this what y'all thought was the best at the beginning of the 21st century, bruh. Come on now. No, some of them did not understand. They didn't say what's your favorite book. What's your favorite book? That's not what they saying. They saying the best of the 21st century. So we need to get it from the gut of your reading. And that's what tells me we're not getting to the gut of it because there is no gut to get to. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So it is what it is. But so if you go on the New York Times link, you'll have like a list, and what it does is it makes you um let me see if I can get in. It makes you it what it does is it allows you to go book by book, and you can then say you can either tick yes, I've read it, or you tick I want to read it, or you tick nothing. So as you go through, you get the full list. But I don't know. I was just like I wasn't really a fan of everything that I saw. I was just like, okay. Um, but let's see if I can get it on here. Let me see something. No, the list is let's see. Open Book Open. I don't know who that is. It's doing a Bookstagram version with a Google Doc. Oh, well, good luck with that. It's the New York Times that created the list, but they created it by soliciting people in the business. So authors, publishers, booksellers, critics, book critics, and they all solicited a ballot of what they thought were the 10 best books. And then from there, depending, I guess, on how many times a book was either mentioned or whatever, they compiled their list. Yeah, it's 503 people. Thank you, because I couldn't remember how many it was. But it's from people that are in the business pretty much. So they had to submit 10 books. And what winds up happening is I think in the beginning we saw a few ballots of all and stuff. And then I started seeing all the Bookstagrammer ballads. And I was just sort of like, okay. So um yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Don't wait. Oh, I'm so glad you like the last thing you surrender. Okay, well now you're all caught up. You're ready to read 54 Miles. It's coming out at the end of July. So you can read 54 Miles. Okay, let's see. Um yeah, I think it's coming out I want to say it's the 26th. I think it's the 26th of July. Yeah, I enjoyed that one as well, Night Wherever We Go, but nobody read it. I hate to say it, but nobody read it. Um, oh my God, Alba, yes. The Last Thing You Surrender. Gotta add that to your list. Last Thing You Surrender, so good. And if you want to read any of his other books, they're good too. You know, there's Freeman, very good. There's Grant Park, very good. Get them. Pre-order the 54 Miles. Do it. Do it if you can. All right, so I've got a hold of the list. So you have, I'm going to go through really quickly. First, okay, so already the author Dennis Johnson has two books on this list. I have not read any Dennis. I don't ever plan on reading any Dennis Johnson. I'm just going to say I'm not going to plan on reading it, and I won't ever read one because a book club, there might a book club pick, and your girl got to read it. I'm saying I don't plan on reading in Dennis Johnson, but two of his books showed up on this list. The first one was Tree of Smoke. No. 99 was Allie Smith's How to Be Both. Okay, now Allie Smith, I have a complete and total aversion for, so it's never going to happen for Allie Smith. Yeah, Leonard Pitts Jr. should have been on that list. An American Marriage was on this list, and I was like scratching my head, like, why is this book on the list? Why? Why would somebody put An American Marriage on this list as the best book of the 21st century? Really? Really? I don't believe it. Tashika is finishing The Last Thing You Surrender next. Also finished S.A. Cosby, All Sinners Bleed. He's my favorite mystery author for sure. No, S.A. Cosby is not on the list. The next book was 98, and it was Bel Canto by Ann Patchett. I read that book, and frankly speaking, it was a no ma'am for me. No ma'am. I didn't particularly love that book. I think I'm gonna give it like a 2 stars. 97 was Men We Reaped, which I thought was, yeah, I was not surprised that that was on here. I know. I was expecting White Teeth to be on there. I wasn't expecting On Beauty to be on there though. Okay, this book it's called Wayward Lives, Beautiful Experiments by Saidiya Hartman. That was number 96. I have not read that book, but I would like to read it. Then, of course, there was Bring Up the Bodies. And then, of course, there was book number one, which was Wolf Hall. I have read Wolf Hall, have not read Bring Up the Bodies. I need to rectify that. Next on the list was, so we're going from 100 to number one. So 94, so that was 95. 94 was Zadie Smith's On Beauty. 93 was Station 11. Okay. 92 was The Days of Abandonment, which is another Elena Ferrante novel. Now, this is one that's been on my list, is The Human Stain by Philip Roth. It's one book that I have not read in the series. It's a series of books. I think I've only read the first two. And this is number three. But I will definitely read that one day, hopefully sooner than later. The next one was number 90 was The Sympathizer by Viet Thanh Nguyen. That one, that's a good book, and that is one that I would have said should have been on the list. So I'm happy to see it there. The Return. So this is Fathers, Sons, and the Land in Between. So this is a book on Palestine. Then there was The Collected Stories of Lydia Davis. No, that was number 88. Next, 87, there was The Transition Baby by Tori Peters. I'm not surprised this one is on there. Yes, they turned that one into a movie, The Human Stain, but I didn't see it. Yeah, Wolf Hall is good. Yeah, it's not bad though. I like the quirky main character. Next is one of Raymond's favorites, which is Frederick Douglass by David W. Blight. That book that Kay the Reader took, I don't know how long to read. That one is on here, number 86. Next is George Saunders, Pastoralia. Yeah, I don't know, not for me. The Emperor of All Maladies by Siddhartha Mukherjee is on here as well, number 84. Number 83 is When We Cease to Understand the World by Benjamin Labutu. 82 is Hurricane Season, which I'm not surprised it's on there, but I haven't read that, so I don't know. What do I know? Then there was Pulphead Essays by John Jeremiah Sullivan. It's number 81. Number 80, this is The Story of the Lost Child, which is the final novel in the Quartet of Elena Ferrante, the Neapolitan series. That was number 80. So I was happy to see that on there. The next one is A Manual for Cleaning by Lucia Berlin. Never heard of this one before. Next, there was a John Foss, The Other Name. It's called Septology. Yeah. So I haven't read any John Foss. So, but I'm not surprised he's on there because he's like hard hitting literary fiction writer. An American Marriage came in at 77. I'm still looking at that with a side eye because I don't think it should be on here, but that's just me. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Really, people? I don't know. I would have never picked that one. Number 75 is Exit West. This one, I have this one on my TBR, but I never got a chance to read it when it came out in 2017. But I definitely want to read that one. Next, we have Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. I'm not surprised to see that one on there because, yeah, this is her baby. This is the beginning of her Olive Kitteridge series, and like lauded. Everybody loves it. The next one is The Passage of Power, The Years of Lyndon Johnson by Robert A. Caro. That's number 73. Well, that is just that's not my avenue, but that's Raymond's avenue. He may have read this one. Next we have Secondhand Time by Svetlana Alexievich. That's number 72. It won the Nobel Prize, this author. The next one is 71, the Copenhagen Trilogy by Tove Ditlevsen. I have this on my TBR to read. It's supposed to be very, very good. It's like a memoir. It's a trilogy memoir. Next, another great one, which I was not surprised to see on there, which is All on Hagar's Children by Edward P. Jones. I'm not surprised by that one. The New Jim Crow, that's 69. Not surprised about that one either. The Friend by Sigrid Nunez is number 68. That's the one about the dog. So, yeah, I don't know if that really should be on there, but it's on there. Next is Far from the Tree by Andrew Solomon. That's 67. I don't really know that one. The next one is We the Animals by Justin Torres. Mm, okay. The next one is The Plot Against America by Philip Roth. It's number 65. I've read this one and it is excellent. If you want to read a Philip Roth that's really good, and this is a standalone, get this one, The Plot Against America. So, 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 so good. Highly recommend that one. The next one is The Great Believers by Rebecca Mackay. I haven't read this one, but it's on my TBR. It was 64 on the list. The next one is number 63, Veronica by Mary Gatskill. I haven't read any Gatskill, so I don't know. The one after that is 62. It's called 1004 by Ben Lerner. I don't know it. Never heard of it before. 61 is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I still haven't read that yet. I think I got so sick of hearing people talk about it that it put me off wanting to read it when it came out. So maybe I can get a chance to read it this year. Next, one of my faves, Heavy, Kiesi Lehman, number 60. Middlesex, another one of my faves, 59, Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. Great book. The next one, I don't know. Stay True by Hua Su. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The next one we have is Nickel and Dimed by Barbara Herrick. Henriek. Not sure how that's pronounced. The Flamethrowers by Rachel Kushner, number 56. I remember when there was a lot of talk about that book when it came out. The Looming Tower, Al Qaeda, and the Road to 9/11 by Lawrence Wright. That was number 55. I will never read that. 10th of December by George Saunders. I had this on my TBR for a while, but I think I took it off. I might put it back on. Yeah, I loved Heavy too. Heavy is fantastic. Jasmine said, I hated Demon Copperhead so much. Oh, but you love to hear my thoughts, but you hated the book. Okay, girl, I see you. I'm gonna read it more this year because I haven't heard anyone talk about it anymore. Okay, Alice Munro is on here, I think twice. Or maybe so the first one, this one is 53. It's called Runaway. I haven't read any Alice Munro. I feel really bad because I should have read one of her things by now. Yeah, Latrice, you want to hear my thoughts on it? Here's Johnson book, Train Dreams. Child, I will never read anything by this person. No. Kate Atkinson, Life After Life. That was number 51. Have not read that. Trust by Hernan Diaz. I read that boring ass book. I would not recommend. I was bored. The Vegetarian by Han Kang, I read that. It was number 49 on the list. Very good. Persepolis, read that, loved it, recommend it. That was number 48. Tony or Mercy, 47 on the list. I recommend. Read it. That's good. The Goldfinch, Donna Tartt was number 46. Did not read it. Have tried to read it once and DNF'd it. Will probably try to read it again, but if I can't read it the second time, bye bye. The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson, 45. And probably never will. The fifth season is number 44, N.K. Jemisin. That was good to see on here. This is another one called Post War by Tony Judt, A History of Europe Since 1944. I think it is 1944. Another great book, A Brief History of Seven Killings, number 42. Read that, recommended, highly recommended. Very, very, very good. Another one, number 41, Small Things Like These. Okay, for me, I feel like it should not be on this list because it's not a book. It's too short. But it's on here, Claire Keegan. It's a good book, but it doesn't have a proper ending and it's too damn short. I don't think these short novels, these novellas should be on there. But anyway, it's on there. H is for Hawk. I have not read that, but it was on my TBR for a while, but I think I took it off. A Visit from the Goon Squad, Jennifer Egan, that's 39. The Savage Detectives, Roberto Bolaño, 38. Oh, this is another good one. The Years by Annie Ernaux. That's 37. Another good one, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me, is number 36. Recommend if you haven't read it. Another one is called Fun Home by Alison Bechtel. I remember when this book came out, but I did not read it. I did not read this one. Another really good one, Citizen, an American Lyric by Claudia Rankine. Very, very good. Number 34. Salvage the Bones, Jesmyn Ward. That's her second one on here. Number 33. The Line of Beauty by Alan Hollinghurst. That's number 32 on here. Now, I have read one Alan Hollinghurst and I really liked it. It was called The Swimming Pool something or other. The Swimming Pool Library. That's what it was. And I thought it was very, very good. And I said, ooh, I'm going to read The Line of Beauty next. Have not read it. It's still on my TBR, but I still want to read it. Okay, 31 is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Awesome book if you haven't read it. It's very, very good. Number 30 is Jesmyn Ward's third book on here, Sing Unburied Sing, number 30. The Last Samurai by Helen DeWitt. I have not read that. 29. Don't ever plan on reading that. Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. I remember when this came out, it was super popular. But yeah, not my cup of tea, I don't think. Number 27, Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I was surprised that this was on here, but happy to see it. I like that book. Ian McEwan, Atonement. I'm not surprised to see this one on there. That's number 26. Random Family. Now, I don't know this book. It's by an author called Adrienne Nicole LeBlanc. Love, Drugs, Trouble, and Coming of Age in the Bronx. I might need to read that one. That's number 25. It's called Random Family. Came out in 2003. Next on the list is Richard Powers, The Ogre Story. Now, this one kind of surprises me because I thought it would have been his older work. I don't remember the name of it though, I thought that one would have been on here. I didn't think The Ogre Story would be on here, but here it is. Okay, here's another Alice Munro, Hate Ship, Friendship, Courtship, Love Ship, Marriage. And this is the one that everybody recommends. when they talk about reading Alice Munro. Everybody says, "Oh, you got to read this one." That's number 23 on the list. Next, we have Behind the Beautiful Forevers, and that is by Catherine Boo. That was number 22. Next, we have Evicted. That's number 21 on the list. Next, we have Erasure by Percival Everett. I wasn't surprised to see that one on here. It's number 20. And okay, next we have Say Nothing, a true story of murder and memory in Northern Ireland. I'm kind of not surprised that this one is on there because I remember this was a very well, people talked about it a lot and, were said it was just so good and so gripping. Lincoln in the Bardo, George Saunders. I'm a little surprised this is on here, but okay, whatever. The Sellout by Paul Beatty is on here. Number 17. Very surprised that this is on here. The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay is number 16. I'm not surprised this is on here. It's Michael Chabon. It's very, very popular book. A lot of people loved and raved about how good this book was. Now this one surprised me. Pachinko was at every turn and on everybody's list. And I was like, really? Y'all putting Pachinko on there? I get why y'all putting Pachinko on there. But aren't there other Asian books that are better than Pachinko? I know there are. I know there are better books than Pachinko. Now, I read Pachinko last summer, I think it was. And I loved the first half of Pachinko, but the second half, I was like, am I reading the same book by the same author? It was weird. But Pachinko's 15 on the list. The next one is Rachel Kusk, I think it is, for Outline, number 14. Have not read that. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I'm not surprised this one is on here. So 13. Joan Didion, The Year of Magical Thinking. I'm not surprised this is on here. The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. I'm not surprised this is on here. It's very, very good. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Gilead by Marilynne Robinson. I'm not surprised this is on here. It's number 10. Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I'm trying. This one I've heard nothing but great things about. Yeah, Tracy, it was like two different people wrote Pachinko. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know, but the second half I wasn't feeling it. Michael wasn't feeling it either. The second half, we loved the first half. The second half, we weren't feeling it. The next one is called Austerlitz by W.G. Siebold. No, I don't know it. Next is The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Excellent book if you haven't read it. It was number 7 on the list. Okay, then we have 2666 by Roberto Bolaño. Is number 6 on the list. Haven't read it and don't plan to. Jonathan Francis, The Corrections is on here as number 5. I'm not surprised. This one is on my TBR to read. The Known World. Yes, I'm not surprised this was on here. If I would have made a list, this one would have been on there. The Known World. That's number 4. Number 3 is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. So not surprising there. The Warmth of Other Suns is number 2, Isabel Wilkerson. And of course, number 1 is My Brilliant Friend, Elena Ferrante. So there you have it. That's what people was working with. So if you go on there, so you'll see it'll have I've read it, I want to read it. And you just check the box. So if you check I've read it, it counts up all the ones that you've read, it counts up all the ones you want to read. It also gives you recommendations. So if you've read, for example, My Brilliant Friend, then it recommends to try The Book of Goose by Yi Yun Lee, or Cold Enough for Snow by Jessica Au, or Lies and Sorcery by Elza Morante. So that's what's really good about it is if you go through and do it, you can get recommendations underneath. So for example, The Warmth of Other Suns. It says, I've read it, liked it. Try The 12 Tribes of Hattie by Ayanna Mathis. All on Hagar's Children by Edward P. Jones. And Traveling Black, A Story of Race and Resistance by Mia Bay. So for that alone, if even if you don't care about whether you read it or not, you can go through and get some recommendations for each book. So let's see. The Known World, it recommends. Oh no, hell no. It did not recommend this. Oh my God. So under the known world, and I think this does a disservice to the known world, it says try The Water Dancer. No, no, ma'am. Do not do that. And then it says A Mercy by Toni Morrison. Get on A Mercy, drop The Water Dancer. I don't know why they put a water dancer on there. It's terrible, The Water Dancer. Let's see. So, for example, the corrections, it says try Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, Commonwealth by Ann Patchett, and The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. Okay, so everybody's saying how many they've read. Let's see. Donna said she read 4 books on the list. Raymond said he read 11. And Patrice said she read 19. So, yeah, I mean, the list is listing. I'm trying to see what other book. Let's go back. Let's see. For the Underground Railroad, it recommends to read. That's interesting. It recommends The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr., Washington Black by S.C. Adujan, and The American Daughters by Maurice Carlos Ruffin. I like those recommendations. Those are good. Let me see. I'm gonna go back to, let's see. For Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, it recommends Deacon King Kong by James McBride, The Russian Debutante's Handbook by Gary Steingart. Let's see what it recommends for Pachinko. Pachinko, it recommends Homegoing by Yad Jossi, The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese, or Cantica by Elizabeth Graver. Now, a book that I thought that would have been on here that I would have recommend was Cutting for Stone, but it was not on the list. So I'm a little disappointed that there was no Abraham Verghese on there, because I thought Cutting for Stone would have been on there for sure. All right. So for The Sellout, it recommends We Cast a Shadow by Morris Carlos Ruffin, which I did not enjoy that book. And it recommends Harry Sylvester Bird by Chinelo Okraparanta. Okay. Let's see. Erasure, it recommends Yellowface by R.F. Kwan and The Sellout by Paul Beatty. And where is it? An American Marriage. Okay, let's see. Americana, it recommends We Need New Names by No Violet Bulawayo. I like that book, but I didn't love it. Loved the first half when they were in Zimbabwe. Did not enjoy the second half when they were in the US. I just thought, like, what am I reading? Netherland by Joseph O'Neill, or Behold the Dreamers by Mbolo and Mbue. That's a really good one. If you haven't read that one, read that one. It's good. And then, wait, let's see. Oh, yeah, Sing Unburied Sing. They recommend The Turner House by Angela Flournoy. I think it's hard to pronounce the name. And Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders. I don't know about Lincoln in the Bardo, but White Teeth, it recommends Lionel Aspo State of England by Martin Amis, and Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Salvage the Bones, they recommend Southern Cross the Dog by Bill Chang or The Yellow House, a memoir by Sarah M. Broom. American Citizen by, or should I say Citizen by Claudia Rankin. They recommend Voyage of the Sable Venus and Other Poems by Robert Cost Lewis, or How to Be Drawn by Terrence Hayes. Get that one is good. Or Ordinary Notes by Christina Sharp. And Between the World and Me, they recommend American Sonnets for My Past Future Assassins, Terrence Hayes. That's a really good one, y'all. Don't Call Us Dead by Denez Smith, or Black Folk Could Fly by Randall Keenan. Okay, let's see. Where is An American Marriage? To see what they were. Oh, A Brief History of Seven Killings. They recommend Telex from Cuba by Rachel Kushner, and Brief Encounters with Che Guevara by Ben Fountain. Well, let's see. For the fifth season, they recommend American War by Omar Akkad and The Year of the Flood by Margaret Atwood. Oh, I'll never read that Margaret Atwood one. No way. No siree. A Mercy, they recommend Year of Wonders by Geraldine Brooks, and or should I say, or The Love Songs of W.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fannin Jeffers. So that's good. Persepolis, which is actually a graphic novel. They recommend Martyr by Kaveh Akbar or Disoriental by Nagar Javadi. I think I have Disoriental on my TBR list. Uh, let's see. Where is okay for Kizzy Layman's Heavy? They recommend Men We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward and Another Word for Love by Carvel Wallace. So that's pretty interesting. Where is that book? An American Marriage. Okay, here we go. An American Marriage. They recommend Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. And I never wanted to read that book. I'm sorry. Or Stay With Me by Ayubama Adebayo. I read that one and loved it. Stay With Me is really, really good. Um, I'm not sure, but I think yeah, because I recognize the name. Oh my god, I'm just blowing up. But that's what I feel like I like that part of the list better with the recommendations. But the list itself is just kind of like, eh. I mean, I read 28 books on this list, but and I have to say I read 28 and there's about 26 that are on my TV had been on my TBR already. So in essence, half is okay. The other half of the list, I'm just kind of like, mm. And even some of the ones that I've read, I don't think that they should be on the list, but they are. So I don't know. I was just like, I don't know what I think about that list. Now, I think they do the same in the UK, but I don't know how they. I think they already had theirs. Theirs already came out. But like, I started making a list of some books that I thought would have been good to be on there, and I put The Warmth of Other Suns, The Last Thing You Surrender, The Known World, The Sympathizer. I put Black and British. I put White Teeth. I put The Life and Times of Oscar Wilde, A Brief History of Seven Killings, And I put Blacks by Gwendolyn Brooks. I'd have to, yeah, I think that can go on the list. I put Blacks by Gwendolyn Brooks, and I put Half a Lifelong Romance by Eileen Chang. Those were the 10 that I thought could be really good on the list. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Um, yeah, Edward P. Jones has two. Elena Ferrante has two, and what's her face has three. Let's see. Olivia says I definitely need to check out Edward. Yeah, Edward P. I'm so glad we did the read along in February, and it was the known world. I picked it because I really felt like this is a book that has been a like it's like considered a modern classic. Like this is a book you have to have read at some point in your lifetime. And in the fact that we seem to read more black women than we read black men, I said, let's just do the known world. And I'm so glad we did it because wow, what an experience it was reading that book. It was so, so, so good. Yeah, Jessamine has three on there. Even Tony only has one, and the one that they put is the best one. I'm like, what? I mean, nothing against a Mercy. I liked a Mercy. I think I gave a Mercy 4 stars, but I didn't love a Mercy like I loved, like Sula or Tar Baby or Beloved or like what they put a Mercy. That's where I really saw the. That's when I was really side eyeing them. It's like how are you only going to put one Tony book and the one you put is not the best one of her. Like, come on now. Ah, nah. Let's see. Kay said my book club read The Known World years ago and love. Yeah, it's so so good. Olivia says it's the only one after 2000 of Tony's. Oh, is it the only one after 2000? Ah, that's why. Well, if it's no, it can't be the only one after 2000, but it might be the only one that's good after 2000. I'm gonna agree with you on that one because that last one she wrote, her friend should have told her not to do that. See, that's what I thought that Beloved and Sulu were 20th. Oh, they're 20th century. Yeah, okay. So yeah, but her friend should have told her not to write that last book she wrote. That last book was not good. Sorry. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, I love you, but girl, you shouldn't have done it. Um read. Yeah, on Hagar's children, yeah. Cause I think it's in order. Um I can't remember exactly what the order is for that, but I think you should read all Anne Hagar's children before you read The Known World, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. Look, I'm just being honest. Her friend should have told her not, Tony, don't do that. Come on now. No, no, don't do it, Tony. That's what they should have told her. You know, when you got the little booger hanging from your nose and everybody sees it except for you, that's it. They should have said, look, the booger's hanging, Tony, don't do it. Clean up the booger, but don't do it. Yeah, all on Hagar's children, I think, is the first one. Oh Jesus, I can't remember, but there's an order. Somebody told me there was an order to it. Um, okay, so it's we did it in the right order. So it's the known world first, and on Hagar's children second. Yeah, clean up the booger. Come on now. Or when you got the lipstick on your teeth situation. You expect your friends to say, "Hey, you got lipstick on your teeth, girl. Let me, clean it off, kind of thing. Don't let your friends go out there, with the lipstick on their teeth, the booger hanging down. Come on now. Come on, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, I know, I know. Well, you see, this is the thing. I mean, everybody's got their thing, but I'm not a fan of her new stuff. It's not that good. Yeah, God Bless the Child. That's the one. Ugh, I didn't like it at all. I was just like, "What is this? I'm reading." Ugh. Yeah, her booker is better than most clean most cleanest days. Yeah, Paradise is a tough read apparently. I've not read Paradise. I tried to read Jazz and I thought Jazz was a tough read too. It just wasn't happening for me. Just was not happening when I tried to read Jazz. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't connecting properly with that. Maybe I need to try it now because it's many years later, like 7, 8 years later, maybe I can, get to it and maybe enjoy it a bit better, but mm-mm, it wasn't happening. I did. I really liked Home as well. Home is very good. I just wish Home was 50 pages longer. But besides that, it's definitely a four-star read for me. I thought it was very good. And I thought A Mercy was very good too. She does some really cool techniques, writing techniques in A Mercy I thought were very, very good. Maybe I need to listen to it. Maybe I need to do immersive reading with Jazz to see if that will jolt me out of not liking it. I just was like, mm-mm. I don't know what's going on here. And at one point, I was like, do I even care? I was like, oh my God, I better stop reading now because, like, why am I saying I don't care? Kind of thing. So, yeah, I feel like these lists are always a little bit off putting to a certain extent because, we can all disagree and agree on what we like and what we don't like and what we think should be on there and what's not on there. And, so if anything, I think they make us it gives us bookish conversation. If anything, that's what it does the most. Um, it's give us bookish conversation. Hey Nicole, happy Friday, girl. What you reading? Walk in the Woods said I have two of her books left to have read all her novels. Love. Yeah, I haven't read Love either. Oh, God help the child. I'm gonna say God help you, Walk in the Woods. But after reading The Darkest Child, colorism will be hard for me to read about. Yeah, I still have Love, I have Paradise, and Imma try to reread Jazz. Imma try, but I don't know. It's those 3. But I'm definitely a much bigger fan of her beginning works. They're just I feel like they're far superior to what she wrote after. And I can't understand why it is that that's true for me when I read her later stuff, but there's something that is not there that I see in her older work is so like it's so compact and it's so full of various different things to analyze and to look at. And her newer stuff seems scarce. It seems like it has holes in it or something. I don't know what it is. It's just nah, it's not hitting me like the old stuff. Oh yeah, the known world is fantastic. Oh, you're reading Hours. Very nice. Yeah, and I've never done any of the audio. I've only done one audiobook. I did the not it wasn't what was it that I did on audio? I read it a second time. Mm, no, it wasn't Tar well, I did read it before a second time, but I don't think I did the audio, or did I do the audio? I don't think I did the audio for that one. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, Tracy. I can only think of the word as patchy, like it's missing things. It's missing layers. All of her older work, it's layered. It's like when you see an artist paint a painting, they don't just go in and like this and it's done. They layer their paint, which then allows you to see this picture. It's layered. It's not just a stroke of white or a stroke of brown and you move on. And her newer stuff feels like that. It feels like just one level. It's missing some layers or something. I don't know. I can't get on board with it very well. I need to get on hours. Maybe I'll bring hours on holiday with me. I don't know any other way to describe it. I was trying to think of a way, and that's the only way I can describe it is when you watch somebody paint, you can see that. You see how there are many layers before you can get to rosy cheeks or, full lips, eyes that are, there's a many different layers before you get to the final look. And it just that new work is just missing something tremendously. It seems like everybody that reads Hours, they finish it and they love it. But I don't feel like Hours got the attention it should have gotten. I haven't read the book, but I remember when it came out, I'm still really interested in reading it, but I don't feel like it was talked about enough. Am I crazy for saying that? But I don't feel like it was talked about enough, in my opinion. I think it needed a lot more marketing behind it. It seemed like the marketing lasted 2 weeks, and then after that, nothing. It was finished. Am I crazy for saying that? But that's how it felt to me. Yeah, I figured it'd be highly underrated, but even the marketing just seems so minimalist. Like they didn't really market that book. Am I crazy for saying that? I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was marketed enough. I felt like it was marketed for about 2 weeks. You saw it all over the place. People were getting their books. People were putting in their stacks. It has a beautiful cover, but in the end, the marketing was super fast and super scarce. Okay, so Tracy says if anybody can get to New York, you've got to see the Harlem Renaissance exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the MoMA. I'm sure it's very good. Okay, so you saw a lot of marketing leading up to pub date, but what you mean a lot of? Because I ain't see a lot. I saw a few people here and there. Yeah, the known world is fantastic. It's a fantastic book, The Known World. Edward P. Jones is one of those writers. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. So, if anything, does this inspire you to want to make a more important TBR list? Like, say, for instance, a list of 10 or 20 books that you want to read within the year. Does it make you want to do that, or does it just, doesn't inspire anything? Okay, I see what you mean, Raymond, but what I'm talking about is the real marketing, which is when they get the books into the bookstagrammers, the booktubers' hands, who show it then to the people that, follow them. I feel like the marketing is just it's very short and in most cases non-existent. Okay, so Amalota says she's uninspired, so she doesn't want to make a list of her TBR. I kind of want to make a list of 10 or 20 books, but they don't necessarily have to be books on that list, but it just makes me want to make a more, like, I guess you say, a more urgent TBR list. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be books that are on the list that, I'm just saying the idea of maybe getting some books read that you've always wanted to read that you've been putting off. Does it make you want to make a list of some of the books, that you want to read so that you can read them probably a bit quicker? Yeah. Okay, so you understand what I mean. When I meant that, I didn't mean off that list particularly. It could be anything that you've been wanting to read for a long time that you've been putting off and putting off and putting off. Does it make you want to make like a list of 10 books and say, I'm going to read these before the end of the year? Okay, so you said you saw Raymond said he saw more marketing for hours before the release than after the release. Maybe that's what it is then. Yeah, I definitely want to make a list because there've been a lot of books that I have put on the back burner or that I have read instead of something that I really wanted to read. And I think I'm gonna have to make some kind of a thing for that, that I'm no longer gonna do that anymore. That I'm gonna start like privileging my TBR list first. That's what I have to make as a priority. Because you keep putting it off and putting it off, and it just isn't gonna happen. Kind of thing. You really need to focus, focus, people, focus. That's what I need to do. Focus. Classics by Black authors. Well, you have modern classics, and then you have like classic classics. Um, anything in the Harlem Renaissance is considered a classic. Any of those. Anything by Claude McKay, anything by Jesse Redmond Fawcett. Um, all of those, writers, those books are really good, and we should try to read those. But now, when you think about modern classics, that's when it becomes a little bit more complicated because we can all argue over which ones we think are modern classics. But for sure, Edward P. Jones's books are modern classics. So if you haven't read any Edward P. Jones, I suggest you read something by him, preferably in order. The Known World first, On Hagar's Children number two. Um, if I think of another like a modern classic, I mean, I would say that Jesmyn Ward's books are going to become modern classics. So, for example, Sing Unburied Sing, and Salvage the Bones. I think these would wind up being modern classics at some point. Um, yeah, I see. That's the thing. Books can be following you for 14 years, and we still not get to them. I'm kind of tired of that. I kind of want to squelch this TBR correctly, and get some of those classics or books that I've just been dragging along when I haven't read them. And there's no excuse to have not read them. I need to read them. It's called The Known World. The Known World. The best of list is good to read because I think the newer books take inspiration on a wait. The best books take inspiration from them. Sometimes, yeah, I know. Jesmyn Ward's writing is not particularly happy. Yeah, Wanda Wonder says, I'm constantly shuffling my TBR and add more from people that seem like-minded than those lists, but I check them too. But I wrote down ones from here today based on yourself or okay, or chat's recommendations. Okay. Um these book chats don't help the books on your shelves. Look, they don't help mine either. They don't help mine either. I still need to cull over here the books, and I haven't done it yet. And I kind of looked at one shelf the other day, and I was like, "Oh, damn! I've been wanting to read this book, and this book is like from 2014 or something like that." So I'm gonna be more mindful of that. From now until the end of the month, I'm gonna be more mindful and try to slip in some more oldies. I feel like I do, but I need to slip in more. But yeah, so that's it. We've been on here a long while, so I am going to shove off. Happy Friday. Have a very happy weekend. I'll be back next week. Please like this video. Please, people, like the video. Thank you. Happy reading this weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Bye.